Welcome.
Uh-oh.
Hey. Hi, guys.
Can we do something?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a habit, and I see this every single time I watch our episodes back, and I've talked to you guys about it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let me chew the insides of my mouth. I do it.
Oh,
it's like a...
I do it too.
I do
You
too.
know
It's
what
really
my
bad, and I
quirk is?
always catch it.
I like touch underneath my nose. I'm like rubbing my nose, and I don't really know what that tick is. So like, I'm not going to touch my nose. Don't chew your inside of your lip.
I chew the insides of my cheeks, and then I'm always like picking my back. No, not today. We're breaking the habit.
Not this year. Not this year.
Not in 2023. Is this the first episode of 2023?
No, it's not.
No, it's really not. Could not be more. Not
Is it not?
It's really not, Gab.
Really?
Oh no, we talked about New Year's Eve. I forgot.
Really, it's our third.
Right.
Because Matt came out on the first, and
Obsessed.
then our Patreon for free came out last.
And
Right,
some of y'all were messaging me saying that Matt scared you, and I think that's good. I think it's good to kind of spice things up.
We did get a lot of very positive emails about Matt, though. People love Matt.
So many positive emails, but I got like 4, like, he kind of scared me, and I was like, I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be kind of invigorated.
Matt is a controversial figure. People either love Matt or they hate Matt. I, for one, love Matt. But I know that we've all gone through our phases where we're like, fuck Matt.
And here's the thing.
I love Matt.
Fucking love Matt. Has he made me so goddamn angry before I've seen red? A few times, a couple times.
And you know what? He has that effect on people, and that's why I love him.
And we've worked through it, and that's just what it is.
And we came out on the other side of it.
Now, here's the thing. I wanted to talk about this. So obviously, right before we got here, we went to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And when we pull into the parking lot,
perfect.
There are these,
yes.
So there are these older gents, if you will, and they're standing really close to the car, and they're purposely not really moving.
Don't even say older gents. Say what they really are. Ugly.
Well, I was being painfully sarcastic.
Ugly old horny men. Don't even. I know you were, but you know what? They don't even deserve that. They're ugly old fucking horny men.
Okay. So a couple of feral wildebeests were standing outside the car, and they didn't really make room for me. So I opened the door, and then they're like, just like kind of leering, and I'm like, all right, whatever. We go inside, order, and we walk back out, and then again, they're like all huddled up by like our car, or like your car and their car, very close together, and then all of them start making comments at us like, "Oh, beautiful ladies."
I'm just watching them watch us get into the car.
Yeah, just like smirking at us and like,
"Hey, how are you?"
If we stayed there one more second, drool would have started pillowing out of their mouth. And then one of them was like, "How are you today?" And we get into the car, and I just like I felt like remiss that I didn't just be like, "Oh, you know, how am I today? My dad killed himself."
So we were talking about
I got hit by a fucking car.
So the response is now, I think, because I forget this, and I forget that you can literally just lie. You can lie to strangers. You can lie about what your name is.
Oh, of course.
You can lie about what you do. You can lie about how you are. So
it's probably one of the only acceptable cases in this world that we have left to lie.
So I think it is really funny that when a guy harasses you and simply does,
"Oh, how are you today?" Oh my God. I actually stapled my pussy with a nail gun.
I would see my thing. I think that saying that your dad just committed suicide is really funny, or that you were just released from a mental institution for trying to kill yourself and failed.
Yes.
What are you going to say to that? What's a guy going to say to that? He's going to say, he'll do the thing where he's like, but you're so beautiful. Don't kill yourself.
I'm happy you're here, baby girl.
Yeah, don't do that. You're too beautiful. You want my number? They don't give a fuck.
Or, I mean, I've seen like some women say that they just start like barking or making obscene noises. Not, I'm not going to knock that until I've tried that. But I think we should just start. I think it's starting the new year off on the most abrasive foot, on the most unbecoming, unpleasant foot possible to strangers interacting with you when you're clearly not in the mood. And these guys, they were grandpa status.
When are you ever in the mood? When are you ever in the fucking mood? Because I'll tell you what, the hot ones don't hit on you.
No, the hot ones literally don't hit on you. And if they do, they start talking about they're like, "Hey, I watched a crazy movie. Have you ever seen Scarface?" And you're like, "Okay."
Well, no, here's the thing. Do men just get to a certain age where they're like, "Yeah, fuck it. I'll say whatever I want to whatever woman." They do.
Yeah. They become desensitized.
Women don't do that. Women, the older we get, the more we're like, don't even ever look at me.
Because you want to know what? Because at first, and I feel like we're at the age where we're starting to like kind of evolve into this, but like, especially when you're young, male validation is the most important thing on the fucking planet. And you're like, oh my God.
Well,
and then you kind of start getting older and you go, wait a minute. I fucking hate you.
Well, it's also the thing of like why older men are so into younger women, because younger women, don't know
They
how
don't
to
hate them yet.
They don't hate them yet. They don't have self-esteem yet. They haven't been jaded enough by the world yet. They don't know enough. And I remember being the same way. And now you get older and you just get fucking furious at men. You're just like, don't even fucking look at me.
Yeah.
And we get older and we're like less able to be manipulated. Men love being able to manipulate women.
They do. Well, it's all about control.
It's so, and then this is the thing of like the older guys always dating younger girls because they're like, oh, you know, older women don't want to date me. Yeah, because you're fucking immature.
Because you have a fucking futon in your living room where you sleep on and it's covered in cum and hot Cheeto stains and you're 47 and you're pissing everyone in your fucking life off, Mark.
And we've talked about this before, but there is such truth, and my mom says this, that there is such truth to like women, the older we get, the more invisible we become to society.
Yeah.
Because the most valuable thing about women in society's eyes is our youth.
Youth and beauty.
Well, yeah, but that's it. But beauty and youth are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's because the younger you are, the more fertile you are, the more naive you are, and men essentially love children. So
They literally do.
sorry, Lee, sucks to be you, but these are the things that are true about men and women.
Lee, stop
you're
wanting.
not wrong.
I
There's
know.
nothing
No,
wrong.
of course. And here's the
There's
thing.
no lie.
Here's the thing.
I know.
We legally know we're not wrong because we fucking have been out there. Oh my God. The
Wait.
older guys that used to be into me when I just moved to LA when I was like 19, 20, I was like dating men like in like their mid 30s. And I was like, oh my God, it's because I'm mature. That's what it is. Meanwhile, I'm fucking prank calling and I'm crying myself to sleep. That's not mature. Okay.
Yeah, she's a teddy bear in her bed.
Literally.
But I mean, that's how I was when I was 15 and I was dating 22-year-olds. I was like, they're interested in me because of my deep intellect.
I'm dazzling them with my wit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like sneaking out of my window at night, you know, like not finishing my math homework, hanging out with these 22-year-old guys. I'm like,
You're like at their place, like, so, but do you actually know how to do calculus? Ooh. And they're like, no.
interesting
dropped out.
interesting that you would think that I was talking about calculus.
Honk, I have high hopes for you.
Lee, here's my thing, and I'm sure we've talked about it on here before, but as you know, I black out every episode and forget what we talk about. If you had the opportunity to date a woman in her early 40s or early 20s, what are you doing?
We haven't talked about this. I don't
Please.
think that we've had this conversation.
Okay.
I don't know.
Early 20s, mid 40s.
Early 20s, mid 40s, early 20s.
Okay. Wow.
Why?
Because I'm a fucking man child.
But you don't want a mommy?
And
I
we
don't wanna
rest
get
our
called
case.
out. Yeah.
Well,
I don't wanna get
okay.
called out for being a man child.
So it's interesting that you say
See,
that.
and that's exactly it though, because you know that the older women are going to be like, absolutely the fuck not.
Like, where's
And the younger women are going to be dazzled.
Here's the thing though.
Yeah.
That's just insecurity. I think
Mhm.
older women would be totally fine with me and the way I live. I just
So if that was the case, if a 45-year-old woman was like totally, just like down with, you,
well,
would you do that
I
over
mean,
the 21-year-old?
The line I've said before is really anybody who's nice to me, but that's
oh, Lee.
that's
And that's on
honestly the
Sweetheart
case.
Lee.
Can you imagine dating a 22-year-old man?
No.
No.
Literally no. I told you guys about that young TikToker that I fucked, and that was literally a one night fuck,
Mhm.
and that was already too fucking much.
Because I'll tell you what, a 44-year-old man is going to have the maturity of a 22-year-old. A 22-year-old is going to have the maturity of a 4-year-old.
Now, when you put it like that, I do want to kill myself more than usual. But here's the thing. I think that also, because so we were talking about, going back to like your point about like, women's like currency is their youth and beauty and etc. But we were talking about it this morning. Like, I kind of always had it in my head too. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that's also part of the reason I was having this like freak out about turning 30 next month or in 2 months, whatever, because I'm like, oh my God, like, it's like the end of an era. But I'm just kind of also like, I've been seeing like a lot of things on my TikTok being like, like this woman's 45, this woman's 62, this woman's 50. And like, they like, quote unquote, don't look their age. Like they just, they look great. And I'm just kind of like, I think we're being sold this fictitious.
Hold on. Put a pin in that. Because like when you say, they're in their 40s, but they look great. So that
No,
societally insinuates.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to like, that's what I'm undoing right now.
Okay.
And that's not interrupting me in the middle of the point. But what I'm saying is we're sold this idea that like, once you get older, like, oh, you can't look good anymore. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm seeing all these people and I'm starting to just be more cognizant of the way that my brain is wired. And I'm like, oh, we're being sold this fallacy. It's a lie that like, oh, women like aren't hot anymore after they turn 30 or even like 26, whatever,
Mhm.
for the real predators out there.
Mhm.
But it's just not true. Like women, they do age like motherfucking fine wine. And I just think that it's like, it's really honestly harrowing and sad that we are we are so programmed to believe that we like lose our value when it's in fact that's not true.
Right. And then it comes back. Then that makes me think about like this. Okay, so the obsession with youth, right? Women to be considered like societally beautiful have to maintain their youth, right? So we start getting Botox, we start getting filler because it keeps our skin from getting wrinkled, right? Then men find out we get Botox and filler and they flip their shit and they're like, ew,
you're
women should just
disgusting.
embrace their natural beauty. But we, societally, according to men, expire after a fucking age when we start getting wrinkles, right? So men have no fucking clue what they fucking want.
No, of course.
And this is a fucking feminist podcast now, because that's a fucking thing. It's this thing we're getting fed this, oh, well, women are only attractive when they're youthful and beautiful, when they're youthful and hot.
And then, okay, bet. So then I will do everything in my power to stay that way. Ew, you fucking whore!
Oh, you're gonna get Botox, you fake fucking bitch, and then you fucking age and nobody's interested in you. And so then it's this whole psychological fuck of like, are we just doing this for the approval of men? And in a way, at the very core of it, yeah, we are.
I started having, you know, I'm 29. I started having a fucking panic attack because this year I like really started noticing like my face, quote unquote, falling. And like, I look in the mirror, I look on camera. I look fine. Okay. I look fucking fine. But in my head, I'm like, oh my God. It's also because like I took a picture with like my 21-year-old like little like family friend. And I was just like, oh my God, my face doesn't look like hers. It's falling.
Yeah.
No. And it's like, hey, bitch, you're living your life. You should be so lucky that your face is quote unquote falling. It means you're fucking alive. Relax.
Well, and I look at young women now. I look at, like 20, like, because you see them all the fucking time on TikTok, and, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old women. And I look at that and I'm like, I'm glad that that's not what I look like anymore, because you look, I don't know, there is real beauty with age.
Yes.
Also, girls look it's young. They look just very young. And I'm like, I see women who are our age and I'm like, oh, you
look like
grown.
that for a period of time. And that's great. And I think we need to like, and it's hard because again, society like deeply fucking programs you to be so perversely insecure about, I don't know, just fucking living. But as a woman, but I think that we have to like really like unlearn that somehow. And honestly, I know TikTok is a fucking like cancer to society, but also sometimes it can be good for showing all of these other like great aspects. Like, oh, okay, like you're allowed to fucking age. And also you're not going to look like the fucking crypt keeper just because you're 45. Like, relax.
Yeah. Social media has so many of these pros and cons where it's like the best thing that's ever happened to humanity and also simultaneously the worst thing. I heard something really interesting the other day in an AA meeting, which I really liked. And it was a man sharing about how he loves program because it's given him an ability to build close bonds with other men. And he was like, and when I was drinking and didn't have, this program, I didn't have close relationships with men. I didn't know how to be vulnerable with men. And this program has given me the tools to actually be able to facilitate deep relationships with men. And that was like another thing of like, it's so important. That's this thing of like the toxic masculinity of like men. I feel, we feel bad for men because like they're raised to believe that like, you need to be manly. You need to fucking shut down. I'm not saying anything new. Everybody, we've all had this conversation.
What if we'd never heard that before and we just started having a seizure? Whoa.
So it's like men are raised to not really be able to be vulnerable with men. And so it like really struck me that this guy was talking about that because I was like, that's really fucking important, because I think if men also were more vulnerable with men, there would be a lot less sexism, because I think men having this animosity towards women and then not being able to be vulnerable with other men gets them all fucking pent up. And then they like, if we were all just a little bit more vulnerable with our own genders,
less mass shootings,
and that's
less
what men
violent
need.
Attacks towards women.
Men need healthy relationships with men.
And it's interesting that you're saying that you heard that in an AA meeting, because what I heard in the last, or I think it was like the second to last Al-Anon meeting I went to, was this older man was talking about how he had to like, he was like working his fourth step, which is like making amends and whatnot. And
fourth step isn't amends. Fourth step is taking a moral inventory of everybody you're pissed off at.
Okay. Well, it was something where he was making an amends or whatever. And he was talking about like, he was working this step. I thought it was fourth, but he was working his step. And he's like, realized, he's like, I was so angry at like women. And he's like, and I had this like fucking rage towards women. And then when I like really got down to it, it was jealousy. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, and he was like, I was so jealous of them because I spent my whole life being like really lonely. Like, yeah, I had like guys on my sports teams and like, you know, like I had like my male cousins and whatever. And he's like, but I didn't have anyone to be like emotionally vulnerable and close with. And I would just see women like connecting in such like a deeper way.
Yeah.
I started to kind of like resent and hate them like for that.
Yeah.
And it was really like, it was very vulnerable for him to even admit that. And then he had to like work through it. And then he like through program was able to a similar thing, cultivate good friendships with men where he's okay. It's, you know, it's allowed to be sensitive and soft, which are things that usually men revere.
Right. Because, because to be sensitive and soft means to be feminine, which is...
And that's the worst thing in the world a man could be.
It's crazy,
not
man.
Not a fucking rapist, not a fucking murderer.
And I have a lot of resentment towards men. I do. I have when I start working my fucking 9th step, like I have a lot of resentment towards men. But I also realize it's because we're all so deeply fucking misunderstood. And all any of us want to be is like connected and vulnerable. But for some reason, we are set up in a world that keeps us far from that.
Right.
I mean, I have an opposite perspective where I've always been able to be very vulnerable with my male friends and not really vulnerable with women.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I was raised by women. I didn't have like strong male, like I didn't have like any strong male role models in my life at all. And so,
but you're not a typical like
but I think
macho,
they're
like macho man.
So, and I think that is what's going on with these men who are, so the big thing right now is that it's like 90% of women go for 10% of the men, right? That's this flaw that within online dating is that 90% of the women go for 10% of men, and they go for the 10% of attractive men, and so that leaves 90% of men that are not getting pursued. They're not really getting dates. They're not. So that's what's like they're trying to like kind of uncover what's breeding this incel phenomenon that's going on.
Right.
And so I think that has something to do with it where yes, on a face level, these 10% of men are more comfortable opening up to women because they've always dated. They've been in relationships since they were teenagers, and they've always had an opportunity to be more vulnerable with women because they're more successful in developing relationships with women.
Okay.
Where a lot of men actually were never ever successful with developing relationships with women and are actually very vulnerable with other men, because that's who they're spending their time with. Like I was the like bro down king, you know, like I like being vulnerable and like telling my friends that I love them and hugging my friends and like being very open and honest and vulnerable with my male friends.
And do you think you were able to do that because you were raised predominantly with women?
I think so. But I think that that's something, but I also think that that's a personality trait that turns off women because you come at women too vulnerable too quickly.
Right. And I think that is another interesting side of it because, and that again, this thing of women being turned off by vulnerability from men is more internalized misogyny
because we're
in
taught
women.
To hate it. Yeah.
Right. Because we are also in turn taught to only like when men are strong and big and so right.
Like,
so
I don't want to see you cry. Like,
right.
You know.
So it's our own internalized misogyny.
It's a bunch of like self-hatred as well.
Right.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I think that that's a side of this conversation that people don't really have.
Yeah.
Is that there are a lot of men who are maybe too vulnerable, who are too emotional and they're seen as soft and it comes off as anxious and
Weak.
and
We're not talking about the guys that fucking cry to manipulate you. We're not talking about like any of that shit. We're talking about like the real sweeties.
and it's seen as wanting too much too fast.
Yeah.
Where really what it is that you're taking this level of vulnerability that you have with your friends, and you think that you can be even more vulnerable with women.
But there is also truth to, you don't want to be immediately
Trauma
overly
bonding
vulnerable with people, because you also have to have a little bit of self-protection. Like, you can't, it's unattractive, I think, on any scale,
for any gender.
If you are, with a man and it's a new relationship, and immediately he's like overly vulnerable with you, because that
there's not a sense of trust established. Like, I don't know you, and also it's like
it's putting too much on the other person.
You're probably like this with everyone. You're not like you're not telling me this because we like have like a solid foundation. You're just like telling me this just to like kind of like get yourself off, or
but it comes from not being aware of boundaries.
Yes.
Can I ask you something real quick? So I was just listening to Armchair Expert this morning, and Jordan Peele, the episode with Jordan Peele, it's a really good one.
No.
But him and Dax were talking about how they grew up in different like lifestyle, whatever. They had different lifestyles, but they both were raised by single moms. And Jordan Peele grew up in a brownstone in New York, and then Dax Shepard grew up in the projects or whatever. And both of them were like talking about like how they found, since like they didn't there was like no father figure around. They were they were talking about where they got their sense of masculinity. Like, where did you learn how to be a man, so to speak?
Johnny Knoxville.
From my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, and from
Bam Margera.
Celebrities. Yeah.
Jackass.
You said Bam raised me,
Bam
and
Margera
that's
raised
that.
me.
Yeah, I mean,
Jackass,
it was
Wild Boys.
I mean, I idolized musicians and Jackass and skaters, and all my friends did too, and we all kind of, and all my friends are from broken homes as well, so we all just kind of molded, and we all just kind of figured it out together. Like, I've always had really strong male friendships.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that we all just kind of learned together, but I know that that's not everybody's experience. When
This is so layered. That's like why a lot of men end up falling victim to joining gangs, right?
Mhm.
Because they're raised in chaotic homes where there maybe isn't a strong father figure, strong family unit, so they end up joining gangs, right? Because you get a family unit out
It's also like a source of like friendship, and you can also make income,
right. But then there's still like this kind of like inherent like violence and misogyny and distrust of women still that breeds in these like groups of people. It's very deep.
So that is something that I've experienced, where I have trouble getting close to women.
Mhm.
Like, I have a lot of trouble getting close to women because I've always been able to be really close to men, and be able to be really close to men quickly.
Interesting.
Like, I can quickly make friends with other men, and
Well, that's kind of like what incels are, in a way too. This is like, it tiptoes such a fine line too, because like incels are like groups of men who fucking hate women.
yes,
Right. So they all have this in common, where they're like, yeah, we fucking fuck women. It's all about. So there's these.
the climate between men and women right now has never been more toxic.
Volatile. I think it's like gotten also more. I think that also ever since the Me Too movement,
Mhm.
I think women for like the first time are like allowed to openly be angry at men.
That's
so like
true.
it is like in our I was like talking to like my mom and even like one of my grandmas about this, like for like both like they're like most like their whole lives like bad shit was happening and you just had to take it, and that's just the way it is. And then in our lifetime it changed, and it's not like that anymore. And now men can get in trouble, and like any new movement, it's still being worked out. It's still like everyone's still finding like the balance of it all. But I think that's also why there is so much anger, because it's like, oh wow, like for the first time in history, we're openly allowed to be angry and not seen as crazy.
Right. So there is so much toxicity now between the sexes, because we have learned like, oh wait, we've been mistreated since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like we can actually stick up for ourselves now. Like,
yeah, there
is
can
a
be
shift.
repercussions.
Right. Whereas it wasn't maybe so openly toxic before, because women weren't allowed to express these
And
things.
I think that there's power in that, and it threatens men.
Absolutely,
Of
it
course.
does. That's why there is this whole fucking movement of incels. This whole thing of like women being like fuck men, you know, because we realize we've been like oppressed since day one.
Mm-hmm.
But there also, like you said, that there's these culture norms of women kind of aging out of attractiveness,
Mhm.
right? There is the flip side of men kind of aging into attractiveness.
Also true.
Yeah.
Right.
That men really aren't desirable until they're 40.
Until they're men.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Until they can be the stereotypical like provider financially, emotionally.
Yeah.
But it's also that thing though.
And men look better when they're older too.
It's true. I don't know. Something about that still is a little bit, it's like different to me. Like it's almost like it's more acceptable though to be
Men are
a man
allowed
at
to
any
age.
Yes, whereas
Yes.
women are not.
Right. Because it's also like I hear what you're saying, but it's like I look at these fucking geezers and I go, we're all just humans and we're all just aging and we can look at like, I don't know. I just think that there's so much pressure that also, if you really think about it, we're the ones that are assigning meaning to everything. Nothing means anything.
It's also true. Also, not us opening up this podcast with 20 minutes on gender studies.
Well, that's the thing. That's on the 3 fucking geezers outside of Starbucks on fucking Sunset or Hollywood, whatever the fuck.
And that's on, okay, so
Hello,
then
beautiful. And it's like, no.
another interesting thing is that, okay, so I posted this thing on Instagram the other day and on TikTok about my dad posting, you know, these 2 women, one with gigantic tits and one with a small chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the woman that essentially is like being flat chested in this picture
It's depicted as bread.
and then there's garlic bread, you know,
which is the big milker.
which is like the exciting, everybody likes garlic
So the
bread.
thing about it was that woman wasn't flat. Like she wasn't really flat chested.
Mhm.
And I think that's what
got people really worked up.
I think that's what got people worked
Yeah, people
up.
got really triggered over
this
it.
woman starts, and then she's like, wow, wait for you to comment on another woman's body, calling her flat chested. That's your internalized misogyny. And I was like, I mean, I didn't say it like that. It was just like in comparison, the woman just had a fucking
was flatter
than Miss fucking Double D,
Yeah.
right? So it was like that's what the comparison was, and she was.
And then that's why we made our like retort video where like we had Gabby and then me to like just like show like we're not trying to be misogynistic. We're not like,
yeah, she was like, your comments on this woman's body are misogynistic, and I was
but
like,
but it's not. It's not you.
You were reacting to your father's comments on
Yes. Yeah.
on these women.
yeah,
And also, you are like a small chested girl, so like you can.
I'm pretty flat chested.
Whatever. Yeah. So,
I would say not even small chested. I am flat chested.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, that term is degrading to women. And it's like, it just,
do you feel like you're degraded when
people call me flat chested?
Mm-hmm.
No. Because it is.
It's like if someone was like,
what's the difference between being small chested and flat chested? Like, what's the difference?
Between small chested and flat chested?
Yeah. I mean, it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like, what, I don't know, big chested and what, I don't know.
And then we all start seizing again.
And jumbo tits. I don't know.
Is the point that you're just not supposed to comment?
That's the thing. Is
There's
like
no humor in commenting on people's appearance.
Right. That's what she was essentially saying is you commenting on another woman's appearance is sexist. And I'm like, but that's what's already being depicted in this picture. So I'm commenting on the picture. That's why it's.
And you were commenting also that it's, I don't know if, but here's the thing. You didn't open up the video by saying that. So I think some people just started like going off before you get to it. But like the whole reason you made that video is because your father posted small tit girl, no, big tit girl,
yummy,
yummy, hungry.
People are missing that point.
Yeah.
And like that's what the whole bit is.
Right.
And
the conversation is missing that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the tea.
It's so interesting how self-righteous we get. And that woman just felt so justified in that, and was just like,
but also that's social media, and that's why it's like
social media.
But I mean, you like I have fallen into this too, where like I get like kind of riled up over like what some people say.
Yeah.
And you're but it's like we're all just a bunch of fucking wackos on the internet, and like we have too much access. This is why it's not healthy for us to all have access to each other's motherfucking opinions.
No, it's true. God. Okay, let's get to the stories. So
Okay,
today we're doing no consequences.
Yeah, so it's like, what would you do if there was absolutely no fucking consequence? Lee, we already know that you would jerk off in public. And that's that. Gabby, you would probably rob a what?
Yeah, okay. I don't even know. But let's get into the stories.
Okay. I think I go.
Go off. Who cares?
Okay. Love that energy. Just kidding. No, I don't. It's the worst I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, hi Honk, Bonk, and Lee. Okay, why do I have to be Bonk? Anyway, well, I feel like this is a pretty basic topic for me to answer. LOL. Okay, didn't ask for the judgment. I'd love to do a murder or two with no repercussions. Okay, don't kill me. I have a list of people I'd love to take out, but I just feel like I know all the steps I should take to avoid getting caught. But let's be real. I'm pretty fucking lazy when it comes down to doing a task all the way through, and I would probably leave a bunch of evidence behind or something. Yeah, doing a murder, that is not for the weak or the lazy. No. You have to be, that's like for like the atypical people or whatever, because you have to be like so clean.
That Idaho guy, didn't he was... Anyway, go on.
Okay, I still don't know really anything about that case. I'd also love to rob a bank, seeing as how life will never be affordable to the working class. I have one of the highest paid careers with no education necessary, and it's still looking like it's going to be rough the longer this capitalist society bullshit continues. Amen. And also, what do you do? So if I could just get away with a little swipey swipe at a huge bank, that would be great. Honestly, I think you could more realistically carry out a robbery than a murder. Mm-hmm. And that's just the fact. Love to the pod since day one and forever grateful Harper joined full time. Okay, well, sorry for ripping you to shreds. Also, for the record, I'd fuck Gabby because I think she'd be a good time without any commitment needed. Marry Harper because she's a chaotic angel sweetheart. And kill Lee because, bro, honestly, I'm sick and tired of men. Love y'all.
And honestly, amen.
And honestly, you are cute and fun. And thank you for writing in.
Okay, so we've got another murder. God, we love murders here, huh? I've always fantasized about the shit I would do if I could get away with it. And sometimes even came close to doing them. I'm not a diagnosed psychopath, but I do fantasize about murder a lot. And I have a story to go with it. Okay, so she is confessing to murder.
Yeah.
I would want to murder someone. Not in a hostile way or anything, but in a curious feeling way. See, I don't have this at all. I wouldn't, even if I could get away with it, I wouldn't murder anybody.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay. It seems like you're trying to like prove something.
I couldn't do it. I love true crime and do read a lot of forensics, so I think I could get away with it. This is what the Idaho guy thought. Mm-hmm. Maybe stage it as a suicide.
100%.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And maybe stage it as a suicide and see if it works. During the lockdown, I went deep into the different ways a corpse would look if it had been murdered versus suicide. You weird fucking bitch.
Stay away from me, please.
Like the way hanging or gunshot would look if it was murder versus suicide. Actually,
stop!
That is actually really interesting. I didn't know there was a difference.
Okay, see, I knew that you're going to be too easily swayed.
There are specific patterns and bodily signs that determine whether someone was hanged to death by a murderer or themselves. I don't know this word. Petrichal bleeding.
Petrichal?
Spell it.
Petchial. I have never heard of that word.
I don't know.
Okay, you are putting a lot of terms in here that I'm not understanding. Petrichal bleeding.
She might be able to get away with it.
Ligature patterns.
The more that this email is unfolding, the more
wild.
I have faith in her.
Yeah.
And I'm horrified but impressed.
Petchial.
Yeah.
Broken blood, so bruising.
Okay, well, let's not get hung up on semantics here. Let's continue.
It sounds like bruising.
There are specific patterns, bodily signs that determine whether someone was hanged to death by murder or themselves. I also figured out ways to make a murder look like a natural death. But this bitch is crazy. Potassium chloride is naturally occurring in our bodies, but causes the heart to stop beating when taken exogenously. Okay. And
okay, girl, I was having sex and doing drugs during the pandemic, and you're over here plotting to fucking murder. Like
trying to figure out the difference between what it looks like if a corpse is murdered or just dies. Okay, exogenously. And since it's naturally in us, it can't be detected. So if anyone consents to be murdered, hit me up. Just kidding. I'm so unhinged. You're not kidding. Anyway, last year I met and you know what? You could actually probably find that on Russian Craigslist. There are people who want to be murdered.
Oh, and on the black market, on the dark web.
Yeah, it's like what gets them off. Like the ultimate thing would be to like be eaten alive. Interesting.
Stop picking your face.
Why?
Because it's like a lot.
Way too much, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you wanted us to tell you.
Anyway, last year I met a crazy man who happened to deal with some weed. Long story short, he's very wild and owns guns. He got me hooked on weed, but eventually, hold on, he is very wild and owns guns. Why are you laughing?
Because Lee's making me laugh.
Why am I making you laugh?
Because he snapped at you to stop rubbing your face, and then you got mad at it. And then Lee rolled his eyes, and it just was so funny that you're like a bad little kid. You're like a little yard dog. And then Lee's like, I don't know.
Okay. Right. So, long story short, he's very wild and owns guns. He got me hooked on weed, but I eventually gave it up. So I stopped hanging out because I would relapse. He got so upset since I was his only friend, and he kept stalking the fuck out of me and calling me, threatening to ruin my life if I stopped hanging out and smoking with him. Okay, is this how people are supposed to act when they smoke weed? Because it sounds like he needs to smoke some more. So, as any sane man would do, I made a plan. Oh, this is written by a man. I don't know why I assumed it was a woman, which makes it scarier that you're a man.
Yeah.
I made a plan to end him. I didn't want to deal with his shit anymore and got scared for my life knowing that he previously had attempted to shoot a nursing home. Okay, well, there's a little fun fucking detail. This man tried to shoot a fucking nursing home?
Is it bad that I'm numb to that?
This is insane.
I don't know what's happening.
Hold on, I'm gonna run that back.
So he's hanging out with this guy and then is like, doesn't really want to hang out with him
Decides, I don't
anymore.
want to hang out with this guy anymore.
Okay.
He sucks. The guy starts
Okay.
threatening him.
Tells him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to come over that much anymore.
Yes.
And then the guy's like
Threatening him.
Yeah. And now he thinks the only way to get out of this relationship
By killing
is
him.
murder. Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with his shit anymore and got scared for my life, knowing that he previously had attempted to shoot a nursing home. Also, why is this man not in prison? The police released him because he got connections with corrupt cops. A cab. So I couldn't even report him. Also, weed gets you 15 years in prison, so I obviously couldn't admit to it. This is so fucked.
I don't know how real any of this is. This is sounding a little made up.
I don't think so.
Okay.
This dude- or schizophrenic.
Okay, I don't think so.
You're going to get us all fucking killed.
No, because you were acting like a pussy today. At that point, I was, and I'll tell you why.
Gabby!
And I'll tell you why Lee's being a pussy in Patreon. We're gonna save some really juicy shit for Patreon.
Oh my God. No, because you're being kind of a monster
No, because Lee is being a pussy, and I'll tell you why. But literally, you have to go to Patreon to hear it because I'm gonna save it for then.
No,
so I can
because
unleash.
now he's going to fucking be sad on
now
Patreon.
I'm gonna unleash on why. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm trying to hold this
No, but
family together.
So he can't go to the cops because he got off on. He thinks that this guy is like in bed with the cops and there's corrupt cops and everything's out to get him and he can't go to the. It's like that's schizophrenic.
Okay, well, tell that to my
Okay,
mom
well,
because my mom literally has to cut.
There's a conspiracy against him because he doesn't want to be friends with this fucking guy.
Okay. Well, maybe he is schizophrenic, Lee. But
Okay.
let's finish the story.
Everyone is acting like a fucking burnt cheeseburger right now, and it's not a compliment.
I'll see you on fucking Patreon.
Yeah, see you in fucking hell.
Okay. At that point, I was.
Okay, go!
Oh, I am. At
Go.
that point, I was very manic. It's giving me schizophrenia, and got
And not you
hyperfixated.
saying it now too. You're fake. You're fake.
And got hyperfixated on developing a smart plan to kill him without leaving traces. So I planned to go over as if I was apologizing, and execute my plan. He loves showing off his guns. So I thought of maybe asking him to take a look at a handgun and then shoot him in the head, where it would look like a suicide. But it sounded too risky. So I thought of getting him to somehow ingest potassium chloride. This would drop him dead in minutes without leaving much evidence. Plus, it can't be detected.
Why not just play with the guns and shoot him and then say it was an accident? It went off by it. He was cleaning his gun and it went off.
I told my sister about my plan because I just wanted to get it out of my chest, but she returned me to reality. I ended up not killing him,
Thank God.
but I 100% would if there were no consequences. Anyway, love you all podcast. I look forward to Sunday to listen to your all's wild thoughts. I swear I am not a murderous psychopath. Well, according to Lee, you are.
You know what? And according to Gabby and I
believe your story. He can say all that he
You-
wants.
you are thorough. And I hope you stay loving the podcast. And I don't want any potassium bullshit around me. And that's that. I don't claim this energy. All right. I got 3 short ones. So here we go. Okay, honk, tap in.
Yep.
Hi, Queens. Beef dog here.
Beef dog.
Beef dog. And
All right, beef dog.
and the honks know what that means.
Okay.
And now you guys know. Okay. Hi, Queens. Beef dog here.
Okay.
This is short and sweet. I 900% would go on a rapist killing rampage. This is what I screamed about
It's
before.
all murder.
Okay, and also, this is the first time we've ever had like lots of men, right? And they're all being the most violent.
So, So for the listeners, I just want y'all to know we have a 25% like male listener rate.
Yeah.
It's like literally so less than 30% of
it's,
y'all
like,
are
mostly gay
male,
men.
and it's mostly gay. There's like a couple straights that got lost and wound up on this side.
It's like an eighth of straight.
They thought they actually when we hashtag Joe Rogan on our clips, like they got confused, and so like we have like 7 lost straights like in our audience, like whoa, what is this? And it's like welcome to like the gayest, most feminine podcast.
So yeah, and they all waited for this, and they're like, oh man, I gotta say, I can't wait to murder and everyone.
Okay, but wait, let me go on. So I 900% would go on a rapist killing rampage. In parentheses, I would kill rapists in horrific ways, to be clear.
Okay. So this is you're like a Dexter.
A rapist killing rampage.
Yes. She wants to. Oh, so it's a woman.
Yes. No, this is written by a man.
Oh, wow.
It's written by Beef Dog. Okay.
Oh, Beef Dog's a man.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right,
It's the person we interact with on Instagram. And avenge every single woman I have ever known that's been sexually assaulted. That's it. Thank you, ladies and Lee. Love and light.
It's giving pick me. Beef Dog, you don't give a fuck about women's rights. You don't give a fuck about us.
You know what? You're probably a fucking dog. That's honestly what you are. So fuck off, Beef Dog. Okay.
Fuck you.
You're just trying to fucking get into some woman's pants consensually.
Yeah, you want us to fucking read that, so then we'll be like, oh my god.
Oh, so he's like not a rapper. It's like, okay.
You want to kill all the
You're yeah. Well, now I'm drippy.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God,
no,
it's so hot.
we don't believe you, Beef Dog.
Yes, guess what, Beef Dog? You're the fucking rapist.
Yeah.
And we are on to you.
We're hot on the case, bitch. Okay. Now here's the thing. This is written by someone that we love when she writes in, and that's on. I met her one time in North Carolina when I was 18. Okay. Hi, Honks and Lidl Lee. If there would be no consequences, I'd run away from my engagement to fuck the shit out of my hot friend in Australia. Ha 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 ha. And that's on the fact I'm on a wait list for therapy. Yes, bitch.
That's tea.
I'd probably also steal a Gucci bag or something. Love you guys, and thanks for being a safe space. Oh, honey, literally always. Also, guys, I just want to say something, and maybe this is toxic of me. I don't give a fuck what the prompt. I don't give a fuck if it's like best memories you had with your mom. I want you to write in if you ever have the urge, like something like whack like that.
Totally.
That is fun and interesting. You guys can like leave us fun little tags. Like, just honestly go the fuck off.
This is why you should subscribe to the Patreon, because we like when you leave us voicemails and you can just share chaotic. If you want to just call us and tell us like chaotic things, we will play it on the Patreon. We literally
share dark ass secrets, fun ass secrets. Yeah. You guys share your own secrets. Like if you just like want to vent and like it's like the fucking Wild West. Okay.
Stop picking your face.
Yeah.
So B, that's what the messages are too. Is just people saying.
Okay, not you like screaming like a fucking cow. Okay, now here's the thing. Hi there, honky. The third one. Okay, and
Lee wants to fuck me so bad.
He wants to like fuck your face, like just like okay. And here's the thing. Hi there, honky tonks, and simply thank you. No, he is a simp, and that's why I'm wearing. That's why I'm wearing I love submissive men today, because I thought that we are pretty mean to Lee, and I just wanted to give him some recognition.
Yeah,
because Lee is a fucking sub. Okay, hi there, honky tonks and simp Lee. Thank you for your goofy ass podcast and reminding me why I stay sober and need a recovery program when I hear your unhinged thoughts. Okay, well, it's giving judgment. Okay, here's a shorty about what I would do in a world without consequences. I would drink whiskey and smoke weed all day, every day, and not do anything productive at all. Yeah. Okay, your imagination is vivid.
Yeah.
On the wild weekends, I'd do acid probably and roll balls at various music events. Okay, so it's just Lee in 2018. Various music events and attempt to sleep with anyone I found attractive.
Yeah.
But alas, I'm a commitment person and get my feelings hurt when someone looks at me wrong. I also tend to burn down my life and everything good around me when I get fucked up. So this isn't on the agenda anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And honestly, we love that. And that's on It Works If You Work It and You're Worth It.
That's honestly mine too. All of that.
Yeah. If there were no consequences, none, I think I would do crystal meth every day.
It's not as good as you think. Okay. Good coke's better.
Okay, then I do a lot of good coke and I get fucked up. Yeah. Also, I think what I would do, there were no consequences, I would break into celebrities' houses.
Oh, here's the thing. We would bling ring the fuck out of that.
Absolutely.
Literally bling ring.
I'm fucking breaking into celebrities' houses. I'm stealing their shit.
If there were no consequences,
oh my God.
I would rob a boat and I would go out, like specifically one of those whale watching boats, and I would go out to the ocean, and I would just like specifically like up in like Washington, and I would just like see like all the humpbacks, and I would just fucking like be out there, but I would be on like a nice ass motherfucking boat.
That was the most pussy thing you could have said.
Well, I literally wasn't done because you're literally the most annoying fucking person I've ever met.
On a whale watch.
Yeah, she wants to take herself on a whale watch.
I would take myself on a whale watch.
Buy a ticket
on a really nice boat.
Get a ticket. You can buy a ticket to literally do that.
I
already have. Literally buy a ticket to do that.
No, but you guys don't have. No, because you guys don't.
If there was no consequences, I would bring myself in a whale.
I go get a boat. I get on a boat and I go watch whales.
Okay, you guys are fucking.
You can't do that.
You guys are boring as fuck. You can do that, you fucking bitch. You can fucking get an 8-ball tomorrow. You just don't have self-control, and neither do you. So that's why you guys have to hold hands with strangers every week and chant, God grant me the serenity. You guys are fucking pussies.
You want to know why? No, you want to know why you couldn't do that? Because you don't know how to fucking sail a boat.
Yes, I do. Because my dad taught me how to steer a fucking boat, bitch. And I'm not talking about a fucking sailboat. That's actually pussy. I'm talking about a big ass fucking like a wooga boat. I'm fucking going out there.
Like a yacht.
God.
No.
And I would steal a fucking plane and I'd probably kill myself in a fun way. Because I've always wanted to fly a plane, but I'm not going to take flight school because that's too much work.
Fuck.
Okay, not you guys laughing. Like, I would take crystal meth in my fucking shit-stained room with my cats, and I'm over here trying to have a great experience, and Lee's over here like, yeah, I think I would have consensual sex for once. It's like, okay, ha, God.
Would you if you could get away with it?
No comment. I'm not.
That's a yes.
Yeah, that's a yeah. Because all men, that's the ultimate fantasy is to someone underage. And that's what it is.
Yeah. If there was no consequences, and you can't admit to it, but I want you to think about it. If there were no consequences and you could fuck a 13-year-old, would you do it?
No.
It's giving Roman Polanski.
No.
Okay, 15.
No.
He can't admit to that. He'd go to jail if he did.
Yeah, he would. But here's the thing.
You.
Lee's going to answer on Patreon. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Fuck both of you. Okay, go.
Dear Honker Honks and Subboy Lee. I've been listening for a bit, but I've never wrote in despite having a truly unhinged life. So I will start with this. Please write us in if your life is unhinged.
Literally.
Warning, my grammar sucks ass. Thank you, Bible Belt education system. Sometimes I often wonder if I'm more schizo than diagnosed or have antisocial traits because I truly would be a huge menace if not for the fear of jail time or losing the few people I care about. I don't know why, but when I get mad at certain places, like my psychiatrist clinic or the DMV, I just wish I could burn it down. I feel like that's a common thought. Only after hours, though, so no one gets hurt. I would also torture child and animal molesters to death. I would do that too. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm in Walmart, I want to beat people with objects just because how I rate the store gets me. Never children, the elderly, or people I think are hot, though. I'm a passenger princess because I'm unable to drive due to sensory processing disorder. I love that for you. That means you're really smart. But I still have major road rage and want to pull people out of their cars and beat them on a regular basis for being so fucking stupid.
I'm screaming.
Lastly, it's not as bad, but I'd be stealing from so many stores if not for the threat of arrest. Walmart is whatever, who cares? I do that anyway. But I'm talking places like Saks Fifth Avenue and furniture places.
Yeah.
I'd also probably steal from people, but only if they are wealthy and an asshole. The only legal thing I'd do is be a huge whore if STDs weren't a thing. Same. I would fuck everyone. And also without the consequences of maybe getting attached, I would fuck everyone. If I wasn't afraid of what people would say about me for being a fucking whoever I want.
That's a good no consequences. Like the
that's
consequences
a great no consequence.
Of not getting attached. You
know?
I like that.
If I wasn't afraid of rejection and people not liking me, I would fuck whoever I wanted. And
I would move into an extremely, extremely nice motherfucking penthouse. Because I don't want a fucking actual house. I would just move into like a nice ass motherfucker. Okay, now you're about to laugh at my fucking answer again. I would move into like a really nice ass fucking place. And that's on no consequences.
That's not even.
What's the consequence?
What's the consequence?
But I'm not going to have to pay for it. Am I not? Why are you guys the meanest people? You guys
because you want to know what you're saying.
No, because you're like, oh, basically, I let my addiction just run my life. Oh! And I'm saying, no, that's what you're saying. No, but that's what that is what you're doing. No, that is.
You want to fuck and you want to do
that is. It's giving not creative, it's giving boring. It's giving, I'm asleep. I'm giving something a little new.
You're saying, I want to break into a Toys R Us and play with all the toys and then put them back on the shelf and go home. That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. saying,
What
Gabrielle.
you're saying is, I want to go eat a bunch of cotton candy and not get a tummy ache. That's
you know
what
what?
you're saying.
That literally is more fun than getting humped and fucking dumped than whatever the fuck you're fucking talking about
Hawk
over
wants to eat
here.
a bunch of bubble gum and not get cavities, and
Whatever.
that's her.
I'm trying to have fun, and you're over here like,
Oh, I'm gonna be doing crystal heroin and guys named Bartholomew. Whoa!
I'm like, okay.
Hawk
and
wants
then
to go
Lee,
eat a box of cookies and not have a single consequence
yeah,
while whale watching.
on my nice ass boat. God, you
I-
people have no fucking vision. You guys are okay, and
I would
also
wanna
because
eat
I'm
all the
epileptic,
food.
I'm not
That's
supposed
true.
to go scuba diving because I'm motherfucking epileptic. But if there's no consequences on my fucking whale excursion, you're uninvited. You're uninvited. Boring, boring, poor. Bye. I literally would go scuba diving and see my beloved whales.
That's pretty
I'm
cute. That one's cute.
Oh, and now it's cute.
Yeah, but you have some weird. That's like your disability getting in the way.
That's my disability.
You're a disabled
Oh my god.
fucking
Did
cunt.
you see the video of the whale eating the kayaker?
No.
Yeah, there's this video of a whale. It's like a humpback whale, and there's two
Hmm.
kayakers, and the whale comes up and
It's not eating. The
Straight up
kayaker was in the
eats it.
way of the motherfucking whale resurfacing and trying to eat plankton.
I would break into the zoo and
Fuck the giraffes.
Yeah.
You would bring your vibrator in and see which animal would lay on you while you fucking vibed out.
if
you
I wasn't
fucking
afraid,
predator.
okay, if animals weren't gonna eat us, like if lions and like dangerous animals wouldn't beat the shit out of us and tear our bodies apart, I would go hang out with like the big lion. I would ride around on lions and elephants, but I'm afraid of them because we'll die. I would do that. I'd also get fucking pregnant by whoever I wanted, and I'd keep all the kids.
And then we're back. Okay.
And I'd have like 15 fucking kids by all these different hot guys. That's what I would do. But can't do that. I'd suck,
All of your babies would come out looking like the thing from Goonies.
I'd suck
like the fucking, like-
suck every fucking dick in the world. I'd titty fuck every.
So it's just giving you just wouldn't be in 12-step. So if there was no
I'd
consequences,
eat
you
out
just wouldn't be in
every
12-step.
fucking
You're
woman.
like,
Oh, Hawk, you want to eat cotton candy, and me, I want to not work my program. Ooh.
Okay. The imagination
I would break onto sets. I would break onto to sets when they're filming things, and I'd be like, "Put me in the show right now." I'd do that.
But then you wouldn't learn the lines, so then you would just
Yeah,
be in there going,
great.
and you would be on your phone.
Yeah, but I'd be in it. Okay,
Okay.
okay. P.S. My
If
mom.
there were no consequences, I would have you arrested. Okay, go.
P.S. My mom watches you all with me. I even got Patreon so she can hear more. Okay, you're a menace.
Okay, you need to stop. Okay. Both of you guys need Alan.
Ever since the episode where those about those horse fuckers. The horse fuckers are horrible.
And that's on Animal Passions. You guys
We
look it up
now
YouTube.
we now show each other anything horse related anytime we go into a store to torment each other. I'm screaming. And also, what a cool mom. My mom hates my podcast. She would never. She
Yeah,
tells me
so
to
does
stop
mine.
doing
yeah,
it.
my mom hates this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah. But my mom, here's the thing. At least y'all don't listen. Mine listens. And she calls me up and she goes,
What do you mean you're waxing your butthole?
and then the whole family calls me. That's why I asked if we talked about it on Patreon, but we talked about it on the public.
Yeah, we're almost there.
She thought that we were going to stick a camera in our assholes. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay. No, we're not. Okay.
we're almost there.
I know. We almost are.
Yeah.
Triggered.
I'm
25
screaming.
more.
This is such a haunted story.
Read it.
Do you have any more?
Yeah. I have two more.
Okay, this one's really
Okay,
haunted.
I have a short one and a okay, so I'll just do mine and then you'll do okay. This is a little short one and then I'll just read the regular one. Okay. Hey Honks and Lee, if I had no consequences, I would immediately turn this hoe into Grand Theft Auto and anyone driving slow in front of me would get rammed into because I own a Jeep. I would also treat the roads like an autobahn and live my best
Autobahn.
The Autobahn.
It's Germany.
You would know that. Okay.
Seek Hill.
There are consequences, Gabby.
And there really are. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get on a set is if it's a literal fucking porn or if it's a fucking alt-right fucking
I would do
commercial.
porn. If I could, I would do porn.
I know, because that goes right back to the addiction.
Not so
Okay.
bad.
So
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Autobahn and live my best Vin Diesel life. I would flip off every single cop out there as I drive past them and be on my merry little way.
That's good.
I hate slow drivers. Anyhow, I will show you my Jeep because I know how much Gabby loves them. And Harper, welcome to the gay side. That's
I
a
love
great Jeep.
Jeeps. It's
Honestly, some of the
that's
hottest
such a
people I've
nice
ever hooked
Jeep.
up with had Jeeps.
That's a really nice Jeep.
It's a really nice Jeep. Look at
That is a nice.
I want that
it's,
damn Jeep.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I'd fuck you in that Jeep. Fuck yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, Gabby. Not you.
I'm gonna fuck you in that Jeep.
With With consequences.
With consequences, she's fucking in the Jeep. I just want you to drive me around in the Jeep so you guys can be in the back seat.
I'm in my fucking hoe era, and I'll talk about that on Patreon too. I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm actually kind of okay. Anyway, hi honks and thick boy Lee.
Okay.
Side note, Lee, you have the same look as him, which would be cool if my dad didn't touchy me. He's a little quirky.
Oh,
okay.
What?
Anyway, you sexy.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay,
thing to
Lee has
say.
a semi, and I just want everyone listening and watching and in this room to know. Anyway, you sexy honks. If there were no consequences, I would just punch kids. Yes,
Hilarious.
that sounds really bad, but hear me out. I work with kids in a rich area, and some of these little kids are little shits. Me who grew up poor as shit, constantly thank God these kids are so lucky and take everything for granted, and they're fucking rude as shit. Like, I was a dickhead as a kid, but these kids are just mean. Not all, though. Sometimes I just want to punch them in the face. Like a good deck never hurt no one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I would punch their parents for not teaching their kids how to act right.
Yeah.
You would be surprised of the amount of parents who make up excuses for their kids being little, forgive me for this, little retarded cunts all the time. Forgive me, not my words. Also, I would
Don't say
just
forgive me as if you don't say it all the time.
I have never said, I don't think I've ever said either of those words. Also, I don't know. And that's on you saying Nazi. Also, I would just, call whoever I want retards and faggots because it's funny to me, to be honest.
Same.
I'm both, so don't worry. I guess I'll
Same.
just call my brother that for now.
I know when I was little, my brothers used to call me a retarded so they're...
And look at you, turned out great. The
Yeah.
other thing I would do is just steal shit
Look
all the
at
time.
me.
I would just steal shit all the time. Like, why the fuck not? The
Yeah.
best thing to steal would be plane tickets. That would be dope as shit. I would just go to an airport and take them from people's hands.
Mhm.
Here's the plan to go to LA to see Fletcher live up front and get up front because I would just steal someone's ticket and be so fucking, and it would be so fucking hot that Fletcher would just want to make out with me immediately. Fletcher's that girl that
The fuck
just
is that?
she I think she got big on TikTok. She's this gay girl who just like performed with Miley Cyrus or something. I saw a clip. So basically you want to fuck Fletcher and go to the concert. I would live happily ever after. I mean, seeing her with Miley Cyrus on New Year's Eve was the highlight of my year.
Oh, is that girl?
I would
Okay.
also just shit everywhere I wanted, Gabby, like my ex's front yard, and I would steal her coke and vape so she can freak out. Love my addict queen. Then I would drive a go-kart through a mall and hit random people walking because that would be funny as hell just to see people fall. I have so much more I would do, but then it would be too long. Kiss, kiss. P.S. Gabby, I'm living for your lips. Like, they're amazing. And Harper, I'm living for your gayness. You're like my gay queen I look up to. And Lee, stop coming on your cats. We all know you do. Sorry if this is chaotic. I'm at the gym, hyped up on pre-workout. Here are some pics of me that I think are funny.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
And that's on. Thank God my gay ass isn't
Is that a
preggo.
pregnancy test? Yeah. Screaming. Okay, yeah. Now this person just sending us a pregnancy test. Hilarious.
And that's all the stories that I had.
All right.
Fuck, that was really fucking fucking
Yeah.
wild.
Gabby and Harper, you bitches are perfect. Fuck you, Lee. JK. Actually, I had to unfollow Lee on Instagram because his possum stories would fuck with my vibe. Honestly, same.
Lee, I'm gonna be honest.
Honestly, I almost had to unfollow Lee
can
too.
I want to come clean about something really quick. Lee, I sometimes send your possum stories to Gabby privately, and I don't say anything, and she does the same.
We hate them so much.
We hate them.
I love that.
We hate them so much.
Oh my God, I love that.
All right. So on some real shit, I'm so fucking proud of you guys. Do you realize how brave it is to completely be yourselves with no filter whatsoever? No, I really don't know how brave it is because this is just how I am.
Literally ruining our
It doesn't feel
lives
brave,
and
it
our
just
career.
feels-
This is ruining any romantic relationship we've ever had. Any shot of working in mainstream Hollywood.
Absolutely.
It scares people away, even friends. Friends don't want to repost this because of what we talk about.
Yeah.
It is family are it's
So
this
basically,
is ruining us.
Being brave is just really knowing that when you're yourself, society will shun you and you'll squander your opportunities.
well, this podcast really does answer the question, what would happen if you just were yourself? And the answer is
Yes.
horrify everyone and become a fucking exiled
If
piece
there
of
were
shit.
no consequences, here's one. If there were no consequences, you know what I would do literally right now? I'd pull out my pussy and I'd open up my lips, and that's what I would do. That's what I would do.
Why?
because she's predatory and she wants to dominate you. And she's already shit with the door open. And so the last thing is to go fucking fly trap on your ass and just fucking show you her fucking like butterfly.
Not Lee with a quaky voice going, why?
Why? Oh, why?
How funny would that be?
There's nothing.
If it was not a consequence, if we could just put this on YouTube and it's not weird for me to rip out my fucking pussy in front of you guys and just go, I would do that.
We still gotta put fucking
Are you doing that at home?
well,
No.
low-key, okay,
Because
low-key,
it's about-
you kind of do though, actually. She comes into my room the other night after going to the
bit for you.
well, she comes into my room last night after going to the movies, and just randomly, you just took off all your clothes, and we just didn't even address it. So then Kate comes in, and we couldn't be more clothed, and you're just sitting there. I was like, "What's going on?"
And it would be so fun if I could just do that right here. If I could do this, no consequences right now, I'd fucking motorboat you and I'd peg you on camera. And that's what I'd do.
I mean, that's a different show. We can make that show.
No, because now you're making it weird.
Excuse
but
me.
I could just do it here, no consequences.
But someone did ask for the tea time OnlyFans.
We should make one. Okay. You guys are legends. I'm mad introverted and have completely awful social anxiety. So it's nice to feel like I'm hanging out with y'all when I listen to the podcast. I love that. Pathetic but cute. It's not pathetic. Pathetic cute. No, it's really cute,
No,
actually.
it's sweet. Don't hurt our feelings after you give us a compliment.
On some realer shit, the episode about child abuse punishment with the guy from the Angel podcast. Oh, yeah. Powerful Truth Angels with Two-Tone. Love him. Whatever it's called. Helped me a lot. It helped me start the journey of bravely facing everything I've gone through and made me feel less alone. I love that.
Obsessed.
Thank you for sharing that. I have the tea. I would basically take all of my dad and older brother's money, reparations for all the violence, screaming, emotional, and sexual abuse. Also, my brother broke my nose when I was 3,
Oh.
and I just recently found out that's why I have trouble breathing. Ha ha ha! 32 years later, I looked into a nose job and they quoted me $25K. Is that normal? That
Go to
seems-
Turkey, girl.
That sounds really high. Go to TJ.
Go to Tijuana. Go to Turkey. Don't pay the American price.
Yeah.
That's drama.
Is that normal? So looks
No.
like it's not happening anytime soon. Genuinely wish I could make him pay for it. If we ever make enough money, I will literally send you $25,000 to do that. If I ever get to the point where financially $25 is like shitting myself, I will send you that money. And that's my promise to you. And I'm on my Oprah shit right now.
And that's on She's Full of Lies, but the sentiment is
It's
sweet.
not. It's true. Genuinely, I wish I could make him pay for it. I haven't spoken to my family in years, and it's brutal every day. But I have found over and over again that it's my only way. My mom denies anything ever happened. That's horrific, and I'm so sorry. And even had to help her finally divorce, and even had to help. Oh my God! And even had to help her finally divorce my dad in my early 20s. The family is toxic, and I get frustrated because I'm free now, but I didn't expect to get slapped in the face with a decade-long depression afterward. Damn.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm finally months away from submerging from the depression finally. Good. Yay. It's hard to trust people, though. Trying to be around people more and isolate less. There are good people out there. There are.
Not many, but there are.
But there are. On a train hungover as fuck, and I can't stop laughing around complete silence. Too good. Harper, the cherry-flavored condom puppet story murdered me. They don't taste good. Dead. Hashtag pen 15 harp daddy. I'll stop flirting with you in the DMs. Okay, so this person's DMing you. But I probably
Oh my God.
but
wait.
I probably want toot Gabby, Harper, I'm coming for you. Okay, what is going on now? Okay, what is going on? Love anonymous broke bitch, but still subscribe to Patreon. We love that.
Okay, I know who this is.
P.S. Oh, so one day I'm getting my oil change at a Jiffy Lube on La Brea and walked to the Ulta to kill time and ran into Gabby as I just finished listening to Tea Time on my headphones. I was like, yo, just listen to your podcast. I don't really? That's so cool. She goes, that's so sweet. Thank you. Like she was the queen of fucking England. Too funny. I love that. God, I have a terrible memory. I don't remember, but that's really sweet. And if I ever see you again, remind me.
Can I see the name?
Yes. It's not really a name. It's some weird thing.
Okay. This person said, you're not fucking getting
They
my
said you're
info."
not tracing this back to me
And
whatsoever.
that's on that. Well, I think I know who it is.
Do you have any more? Because I have another one.
Mm-mm.
You want to read it?
Yeah.
You want me to read it?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Na, 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 na. Okay. Not this person writing the Odyssey. Okay. Dearest Gabby, Harper, and Lee, What's up, Smoke Shows? I started listening a few months ago to episodes that were recent at the time, and then went back and have basically been binging from episode 1. It's been interesting to see the progression. Like how early on y'all started roasting Lee, and how early on he became hentai Lee. How early on, and that's on what is a boundary neither of us know.
I don't know. Lee's on his phone.
I know Lee's on his phone looking up
I
fucking.
was looking for top tier honk emails.
Okay.
No,
Well, it's giving Stay
Literally
Frozen.
doing my job.
And that's on, if y'all saw the diarrhea that Lee left in the toilet.
I didn't check today. Did he leave?
I left. And well,
have to
here's the
check.
thing. What's crazy is Lee went to the bathroom while I was doing my
Yeah,
makeup.
we
He
gotta
goes,
wrap this shit up.
All right.
yeah, wrap
Okay,
your shit up.
yeah, get to it.
Yeah. So anyways, Lee took a diarrhea in the toilet and it's disgusting. Anyways, and I can still smell it assaulting my
Yeah,
nostrils.
there's literally a blood stain from Gabby in there from last week.
There is?
That's
Did I
her
leave
little
blood in there?
intestine falling out. Okay. Okay. Well, if I could do anything and get away with it, what would I do? At first, I couldn't think of anything. Okay. And then I had lots of ideas, but I'll keep it simple. Drugs. Okay, boring. There's a veritable
No, bro, that's a fun one.
smorgasbord of mental illness in my family. I won the jackpot too. Chronic depression, check. Several flavors of anxiety, check. OCD, check. Okay. The things I've done are alcohol and weed. And compared to a lot of people that do those things, I haven't done much of them, but it was more than enough for me. I have a sensitive system. Okay, now it's giving Lee. I've been sober, back in therapy, and on bupropion.
Yeah, bupropion. It's
Bupropion.
Wellbutrin.
Oh, okay.
Or is it Lexapro? It's one of them. Bupropion.
For just over 5.5 years. Okay. Congrats to you. I say sober because I was never addicted to weed and alcohol, but I stopped doing them entirely. Story for another day, maybe. My first draft was much longer and may never do them again. Congratulations though for getting on track for 5.5 years. I've always been too worried to try most drugs because I don't want to fuck up my brain. I had enough issues just drinking and smoking weed. My uncle did acid and had a bad trip on the way to a Led Zeppelin concert, and it ruined it for him. I think he left before the show even got going.
Fuck.
Okay. Bad. Then I had a friend in college who did acid and it broke his brain. He'd already had an aneurysm prior to that, but we didn't know it at the time when he was tripping balls. Not making sense when he spoke, walking out into traffic. Dark. I'm cool with being sober, but if there were no consequences, no side effects, I'd like to try some mind-altering substances. Mushrooms, Molly, acid coke, salvia, honey, ayahuasca, peyote. Okay. Maybe some others. If I can get high as shit and there's no lasting damage, why not?
Yeah.
Maybe not devil's breath. What's that? That one might be too fucked up. What's that? Have you ever heard of this drug? No. I heard about it a couple years ago. What is it? And I've mentioned it to people. What is it? And thought of sharing the video. Lee, why you're not looking it up? And video with friends
what
before.
it is.
Okay, but I didn't want to fuck them up with it. It might be too haunted. What is that?
It's something that they use mostly in South America. The gangs go around and you literally just blow it in somebody's face and it like blacks them out, and then they like walk them to the ATM and like get them to like they basically like get them to like hand their possessions over to them.
You
their
would
money and
do that to
possessions over them.
yourself?
Okay, so you would roofie yourself.
Yeah.
You
Just do GHB.
okay. Oh no, we'll blow that in your face. Okay. That one might be too fucked up. Okay, wait, and I just read that. Okay. Anyway, I would love to feel really good and see crazy shit and know what it's like to do drugs. Just fucking trip balls and watch movies that people say are really good or better when you're high. Take a nature walk with friends. Is psilocybin sex cool? Yes. For now, I know there will be big bad consequences for me, so I'll probably never risk it until I'm like on my deathbed. And that's on Little Miss Sunshine. Ask my grandkids to go score some shit so grandpa can get fucked up. Anyway, love the pod. You make me laugh very hard. I don't know why I'm reading it like that. I talk about it with my friends all the time. I've shared it with a couple friends who've shared it with their friends. Thank you so much.
Fuck yeah.
Literally, thank you so much. You guys have great conversation starters. Yeah, try them out at parties. Incest. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
My rule is I can't eat during the show because of all the talk of shit. Honk honk. P.S. Here's the Devil's Breath
Pussies.
video if you want to ruin your mood for this foreseeable future. It's
do.
truly terrible. Okay, we will
Ooh,
watch
yeah, I
it
do.
later. Okay, literally obsessed with you. Thank you so much for writing it. Thank you to everyone who writes in.
I would
And-
run into traffic. I'd like run across a freeway if I could. And then if I could not
You know
die.
what? I would love to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge and not die.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I
Just experience it.
So they sent us this
I would love to experience what jumping off a bridge into water from like that height is
so
like,
fun.
but not die.
This is a 35-minute long video on from Vice on the world's scariest drug. So we're not gonna play it on here.
But
Yeah.
we'll watch it
And
in
we'll
our
report
own
back.
time. Okay, well, that was our Gorgina little episode. If you liked this, then you can subscribe to our Patreon, What is the website again, Lee? Because, I always forget it. It's like Patreon.
patreon.com/teatime42069.
And that's why we have motherfucking Cat Piss Lee in the fucking studio.
That's true.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for writing in. We have some fun things coming and we love you.
And we'll see you over on Patreon where you can send us voicemails and we're going to talk about me having new relationships. And that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to yell at Lee.
Okay.
All right, subscribe where you listen. Follow us on Instagram. And subscribe on YouTube. Help us out. Subscribe on YouTube. We need to get those numbers up. And we love you.
Bye.
Bye.